go ahead and call this meeting to order. I've asked Councilman Pryor to lead us in prayer and pledge.
Pray with us. Heavenly Father, we come to you right now beseeching you for your wisdom and, Lord, for discernment that you would have us to exercise and that we may handle the affairs of the city in a righteous manner, as well as, Lord, just honoring you in all that we say and do. And I pray for everyone here tonight, and I also want to pray for folks that, as the cold season is about to be upon us, and all the stuff that's coming up in regards to the city, I just pray for your guidance and your wisdom and your leading in it all. And I pray this in the name of our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do the roll call, please.
Terry Lamar.
Here.
Joya Shropshire.
Here.
Lori Bradshaw.
Here.
Kenneth Brashears.
Here.
Tyler Brown.
Here.
Charles Trammell.
Here.
Chris Gontier.
Here.
Bruce Smith.
Here.
Item 2, we have no petitions from the audience I'm aware of at this time. So we will go to item 3, the consent agenda. Are there any items that we need to pull?
C and D.
C and D. Okay. Any others?
B.
B. All right. Can I get a motion to approve A, E, and F, please?
So move.
Second.
Got a motion from Gontier and a second from Brashear. Call for the vote when ready.
Lamar.
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Brashears.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
Gontier.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Okay, item B, approve payroll purchase orders through November 22nd, 2024.
Motion.
Second.
Motion from Brown, and second from Gontier. Discussion?
So, I believe everyone on council, and I believe the mayor is aware that we received an email from the court clerk, city clerk, this afternoon about payroll, and I think that we need to probably have some discussion about that.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay. There was an email sent Mayor and council, I will be out of the county next week with the exception of Monday afternoon. This Friday is the last day of the pay period and payroll needs processed next week. Since I do not have an assistant city clerk to assume my duties when I am out of the county, you will need to figure out how payroll will be processed so that employees can have their paychecks before Thanksgiving. Please let me know how you would like to proceed. Courtney Davis, city clerk. So, it is your job, Madam Clerk, for payroll, correct?
It falls under the duties of my office, yes.
Okay. Therefore, it is the duties of your office and not the duties of the mayor or council or department heads who this email was sent to. Correct?
It doesn't state anything in charter or code that, but that's how it's always been.
Are you saying that any job that we want you to do, it's going to have to be put in charter or ordinance?
That's what charter and ordinance say. Other duties as assigned by ordinance.
So we're going to have to pass a charter for you to do your job, or an ordinance for you to do your job?
I'm saying I'm not going to be here.
And I'm saying it is your duty to do that role. So are you willfully neglecting to do your duty as elected?
My duty as elected is to be the record keeper of the city.
The task of paying the employees falls to your office, you just said. You're going to willfully neglect to do that duty.
I'm not neglecting to do the duty. I'm not going to be here. Therefore, I'm telling you guys, you need to figure out what you're going to do.
It does not fall to our office. It falls to your office, as you just said. You have the power to delegate, and you have the power to do your job. Anything short of that is negligence.
Okay.
Are you willfully going to neglect to pay employees next week?
I'm not going to neglect to do anything.
So you're going to be here to pay
I will
them?
not be in county, therefore, if I'm not in county, my duties are supposed to fall to my assistant city clerk. I have none. I'm not going to be here in the county as an elected official, so how am I going to do that?
You have deputy clerks that work for you, yes?
Yeah, I'm not going to force them to do something that they don't get paid for, know how to do, or have time to do, because it's not their job.
Okay. Why does this problem exist?
Because I don't have an assistant city clerk.
And why do you not have an assistant city clerk?
Because severance packages were offered, and she took us up on that.
I want to remind you about a conversation I had with you about severance packages, where I said certain departments in the city shouldn't be offered these because they cannot sustain the loss. I specifically mentioned your department, and you told me it's not fair to not offer it to my office.
Correct. I shouldn't have to pull my office out of that. I hold no,
You should pull your office out of it if your office can't sustain the loss. And here you are, having to eat the words that your office can't sustain the loss. It is your job to pay the employees.
okay.
Are you not going to do that?
No matter what, this discussion doesn't,
I'm sorry, but this is not your meeting to tell us how to talk to.
We're at the point that we need to have the people paid. We're at the point, I think it's your job to have the people paid.
okay, but none
If
of
that's,
this pertains
I'm
to
not through.
the agenda item.
If that's the case, maybe
Point of
we'll
order.
have to go to the district court and get a writ of mandamus filed on you to make you do your job, if that's what it takes.
Does the payroll purchase orders go over payroll? I assume it does.
Yes.
It's giving approval to cover the bills.
I think it's up for discussion on it. Yeah, that's, if it's over payroll, payroll's up for discussion.
I believe you're gonna have to delegate it to somebody if you can't do it. That's up to you.
That's up to you.
It's
You're
You're in
deputies.
charge of that office. It's not for us to figure it out, it's for you to figure it out.
I've attempted to figure that out by filling that position, and that's not been done.
You were told when this buyout was offered that you would not be able to backfill that position.
Okay.
And you knew you couldn't sustain a hit in your department. And yet, you let us spend $20,000 to buy somebody out when we really don't have extra money to replace them, which means we're gonna lose money. That wasn't a very wise decision, in my opinion.
You guys approved all of that.
I wasn't here for that.
That doesn't matter. You as a whole approved it.
But you knew that you couldn't handle the loss more than anybody sitting on this bench.
But I can't hold my office to a separate standard as the rest of.
Yes, you can. This is not about being fair. It's about doing what it takes to operate a government.
And save the city.
And I had that conversation with you, and you didn't want to do it because it, quote, wasn't fair.
Correct.
So we talked about you sustaining the loss, and you said it wasn't fair, and I said, then you're going to have to sustain the loss without filling that position, which means you have to figure out how to do the job. Again, I ask, are you going to willfully neglect to do your job next week?
I don't think you guys understand.
Well, please explain, so we do.
I don't think you guys understand anything with any of these jobs going on. If I have to give up spending time with my kids on the week that they have off and cancel my plans, I will, because obviously you guys are not going to give me any other choice, but
Madam Clerk, it is not us forcing you into this. You ran voluntarily for this job. These are your job duties. You trying to shift that blame onto us is not going to work. It is not our responsibility. It is only our responsibility to hold you accountable, which is what we're doing right now. And we need to understand if employees are going to get paid next week, as they're expecting to be paid.
Sure, I'll be here. I'll do the payroll. Jesus.
Can I take this a different direction? I understand the duties of the city clerk, the assistant city clerk, and what has happened recently has happened. God forbid something happened to you where you're not here for 6 months, medical, whatever, okay? What restricts you from training somebody within your office to do some of those things? Because and I'm just gonna preface that with every single place, and I'm not getting on to you, but every single place that I've ever worked, to some extent, you are trained, especially if you are in, all right, well, I'll just move forward. Basically, what restricts you from being able to teach them to do something like that in the event?
There is some things that all employees could learn how to do, basic time adjustments and stuff. But actually, this will help answer some of Tyler's questions, or one of Tyler's questions a second ago. To process payroll, you have to be on the bank account. You have to have the authority to spend the city's money to even send the bank the ACH report off to the bank to
Okay.
process payroll.
Who,
So no matter what, they have to be an approved position for that, and the city clerk and the assistant city clerk are the positions approved for that in my office.
okay, well, who all is, that leads me to this, who all is eligible legally to be on the accounts for the city?
Whoever you guys approve. And then
So,
there's
Currently-
something specifically in here, there are some, city clerk being one of them.
Currently, it's the city clerk, the assistant city clerk, the mayor, the vice mayor, whatever you guys want to call that position, and the treasurer.
okay, so is there anything in charter ordinance or in the law that keeps any one of them from running payroll? As in, I just want to know, do we have more than one person that's legally allowed and capable to run payroll?
Payroll is not in your ordinances.
But basically what I'm saying is, we have more than one person. The only reason I ask this, if she goes down for a medical emergency and she's in a coma for 6 months, God forbid that happen, I mean, you know, do we have somebody that can do that legally?
I don't know of any federal or state laws preventing anybody else from doing it like that. The only thing I would be worried about is sensitive information, but
Well, I agree.
everybody that has the ability to be on the bank account are elected officials, with the exception of the assistant city clerk. So I feel like they should be allowed to be, or be able to be trusted with sensitive information.
Okay, so basically what probably should have been done is, and I'm not getting onto you, I'm just saying, who leads all the departments in the city?
The mayor. The
Okay.
mayor's I don't remember the exact language, but he's the one
Yeah, right,
for the day-to-day operation.
right. And so maybe some correspondence there to potentially organize that out to where we don't come into a meeting biting at each other's necks.
Courtney, what day,
I'm not getting on to anybody, but I'm just saying,
What is it?
what day do you need payroll ran?
It has to be turned into the bank on Monday to be processed for the employees to receive their paychecks on Wednesday. Because they're closed Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving. The bank is
and
Nobody else is. If I come up here and volunteer on Monday, can I do it? Will that get it done?
You're a contract employee, I don't know.
I'm not, well, yeah, but that's the issue, is I don't think I have I will
Yeah.
volunteer.
Well, does that person have to be trained and have access to a certain account? Or
Yeah, they're
certain-
gonna have to have access.
Yeah, you need to,
They're gonna have to.
Let's salute.
Yeah.
I feel terrible, guys, I'm just gonna come out with that, I'm literally sick. I thought this was gonna be short.
well, I just think the,
Get you a trash can?
I've got my fisherman's friend.
okay, but I just think next time some of this can be handled not here, if there is a,
Well, I think going forward, let's visit, and I'll watch, learn.
Well, actually, here's the solution. City ordinance, section 1-6A-3, titled Assistant City Clerk. Paragraph B, appointment, term, and compensation. Such assistant city clerk shall be appointed by the mayor with the consent and confirmation of the city council for a term of office coinciding with that of the city clerk, and shall receive such compensation as the city council by motion or resolution shall authorize. So Mayor, you need to appoint somebody into that position right away. Not hire, appoint.
That is exactly why I went out for applications of internal, because
Sometimes appointments are involuntary in an emergency. I have been appointed to other job duties for the last 33 years.
Several boards that didn't have to be on.
Courtney, your employees, have any of them been there longer than you?
yeah,
Has all of them been there longer than you?
no.
How many have? I mean, is there enough there that can do the job?
There's 2 that have been there longer than me, 1 that has not been there longer than me. The 2 that have been there longer than me do not want to do this, because they know how challenging it is and how time-oriented it is and how much detail it takes, and they don't want to do those duties, which is why they didn't apply for the assistant city clerk internal application position that I posted.
I've got, and I may be wrong, but I've got the feeling that this was a blackmail attempt to us to say we can't pay anybody unless you hire me somebody. I get the feeling that that's the same thing on our money, on our accounts. We've only got 2 months of expenditures. We're into November. We don't know how much money we have. We don't know what we spent, what we haven't spent, and it comes back on the council, not you, not the mayor, it comes back on the council. If I don't know how much money I've got to spend, I will not approve any more expenditures out of the general fund, period.
Okay, that's your.
So you need to get that done too.
As soon as Lori and I are done balancing August financials, they will be sent out.
Yeah, but you've been saying this for 2 months. We've got
I've been
2
wanting to
months.
finish it for 2 months.
All right, we
but we're
need
also-
you to help us to do this.
The
We can't
financials
do
are
it.
not this
I'm
week.
not gonna sign.
He's out of line.
Hey, hang on.
That has nothing to do with the payroll at issue.
Yeah,
But I have one question, and it's just a clarification, because I don't know. And if I didn't have this PO tonight, I haven't even known this. This PO is, on the purchase order, is for the court temp employee. But on the bill from Express for that, the city calls it, they call it a payroll clerk. So,
I think that's an error on their part,
Yeah,
because she's not a payroll clerk, she's my court clerk temp.
she's been court clerk since day 1.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So that's on-
that at
that's
all.
on
I think
Express.
I think that's an Express thing.
so that was my question to clarify, because we are getting paid a payroll clerk according to their records.
Well,
I wish.
and on that, it's just the title that Express needs to get changed over, so we'll check that.
So basically, the point is on this, payroll needs to get done. There are multiple avenues of approach that don't concern us here right now.
Well, I think,
And so, instead of bickering at each other, we could probably,
I'll bicker all day to make sure employees get paid.
oh, I agree.
100%, I will die on the hill.
And I'm not speaking out against anybody, I'm just saying, I think this is an issue that can be handled, not here. There are avenues that it can be handled.
Let me ask you this, as I'm reading this, does it have to be a permanent city employee?
I don't think so.
Can it be a contracted position temporarily? Could it be a temp position if we had to go that route?
There's nothing that says anything has to be W-2.
I would not feel very comfortable giving a temp employee access to our city bank accounts, because they would have to be on all of our city bank accounts if they're going to be the assistant city clerk. So that's a concern.
You can do a background check?
Express does background checks if we do temp employees.
But you can't have it done by the Monday.
Correct.
How long does it, this is another question, how long did it take you to do payroll?
I have 1 bill left to pay today. This is the fastest payroll I've done from last pay period. So I started the last pay period, which is a short one too, which makes it easier because police and fires stuff makes it complicated. That was, technically I started that Saturday the 9th, and then I have that 1 bill left to pay tomorrow. So the 9th through the 20th, but I would say the 9th through the 18th is what I spent working on payroll.
Then it takes 9 days to do payroll?
For For the most part, yeah, because it's payroll, getting all the time adjustments together, make sure they're all correct, and putting it in the computer. And then you have to match that with Cassell, make sure everything is good there, enter everything in, fix any adjustments that need made, fix leave rates. And then once you print the checks, that's not where it stops. And when you upload it to the bank, that's not where it stops. You have all the bills that you have to pay, which is a decent amount of bills. There's like 15 or so. You have to do different steps with each thing. So yes, it does take that amount of time.
And those bills cover
How much
curriculum, pensions and stuff like
All
that.
right, how much have you got done for this pay period that you gotta meet Monday? How much do you have left, I guess?
For this coming up week, I've asked the employees, the department heads, to make sure that they're approving their time daily and to get any adjustments turned in within 24 hours like the policy says, and they've done a really good job about trying to stay up on any adjustments that need done to their time cards. I can't start anything until after the pay period is over, which is Friday.
So if I come up here this weekend, and I'm off all next week, I'll come up here Monday, will that help? Is there something I can do?
Yeah, I could give you some stuff to do on that end up until getting the payroll off to the bank. There's things that you could help with, yes.
Tell me when to be here.
8 o'clock, 8:30.
On Monday.
Thanks for volunteering.
I'll-
Where are you going to be at in all this process?
I'm gonna be asking, let me just make it clear. I ask, every day? If there's something I can do to help?
Yeah, at least
And
once.
like I said, 100% willing to do.
Okay.
It's not even, I'm available to help, so.
I'll be here Monday.
Thank you.
And if you need me this weekend to help with other stuff, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion on that one?
So I will throw out one more thing.
Okay.
The assistant city clerk, is that a full-time position?
Yes, it's
Could you use somebody part-time on the weekends and the evenings to help get those duties done as much as possible?
The assistant city clerk isn't all payroll. That's just duties that I've assigned to the person that was previously in that.
But the key thing we've got to make sure that gets done for the assistants is payroll.
Yes, that I really, if they were to only do payroll duties, a part-time could possibly work depending on how many hours that part-time position is given. And based upon the hours that they have to come in, like if they get to work overnight or on the weekends and have more time without interruptions, they might be able to get a lot more done. That is possible depending on the circumstances, but to be an assistant city clerk with the other duties as well is probably not likely to have as a part-time position.
I appreciate what you're asking, but you're confirming 100% what Counselor Smith just said. We are getting blackmailed into hiring somebody for this job that we bought out.
I'm not going in the direction of hiring, I'm going in the direction of asking the mayor to appoint me the assistant city clerk on a part-time basis.
I don't know that you could do that and hold your office here,
As city council?
because it would be two different.
Compensation would be the problem.
Yeah.
If it was a voluntary.
But they set, the council sets the salary, to set the compensation at zero.
I need to double check. It might be possible, but I want to make sure you're not at the dual office.
Yeah.
If
that
it's
would
an
be
option,
my-
I will do what I can.
We'll look into that this week. Okay. Further discussion? We'll call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar.
Yes.
Item C, approve claims for purchase orders through November 19th, 24.
Motion.
A motion from
Second.
Shropshire, second from Lamar.
I asked this to be pulled because, and I believe you answered the question already, do we have financials? I have a real problem approving expenses out of the general fund when we don't know where we are, and that was my point of it.
That's street.
I
It's not
understand.
general, that's,
C, we're on C.
Oh,
That covers all, not just general fund, so.
But the general fund ones, I can't in good conscience sign things if I don't know where we are. First 2 months, we're $600-something thousand down. And we got 2 other months floating out there. If we're on that same trend, we could be theoretically 1-2 million down.
Perhaps we should consider a spending freeze.
That might be something we might discuss about getting on an agenda until we have the necessary information to responsibly use citizens' money.
I understand your concerns. However, I'm not the only one, as I've stated earlier today, that has a part in making sure that the financials are done. Lori is our treasurer who has to balance everything, and she does that on a part-time basis, and she has a full-time job outside of this. I'm waiting for her to be able to fix the rest of the stuff that we need, and then whenever she comes in, which is typically nights or weekends, and whenever she gets that done, I'll go and make sure that everything else is good on my end, and then if there's more changes that I have to make, she has to make sure and clear that on her end before we can process everything.
And I'm not trying to point at anyone or collectively, I'm just stating the principle
I understand.
that it's hard for us, whatever the reason, even if it's nobody's fault. I can't go spend something at Walmart if I don't check my bank account, make sure I have money there. I can't do it, so why should I do that for the city?
Further discussion? Call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
No.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
No.
Smith,
No.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Item D, approve an expenditure in the amount of $5,117.72 to the Municipal Utility Board for the city's portion of October traffic signal maintenance for MUB Light Maintenance Account 141455425. Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Motion from Brashear,
Second.
second from Brown.
Is this coming from non-general fund, the street
One
department?
for
Yes, it's the
street
one for
department.
account.
General
Okay.
fund is 02.
All right, thank you.
I can give you a little bit of heads up on how this happens and how this works. So the street department and the municipal utility board, we have an agreement that we're in our group that comes in at TLS. They're the experts that come and do maintenance on our traffic signals once a year. They go through, make sure everything checks out, the signals and the pedestals at the schools, make sure everything checks out. And the reason why we do that is, I mean, our electrical guys are pretty good, but we're not our expertise is not signals, okay? And a lot of towns send their guys to traffic signal school. They have that qualification, and then if something happens and they can fix it, well, we don't have that. And the reason why we started going with this group a couple years ago was for the fact that, you know, we never really have any records. And it would be really hard to fight a lawsuit if we don't have any records that we've been doing maintenance on our signals. So that's kind of where this starts. We can do the basic troubleshooting of the signals. Well, unfortunately, this one was kind of high. You see the $5,000, it was actually a $10,000 bill that we pay for up front, and then we cut it in half for you guys to pay for half, we pay for, you know, the other half. So that's kind of where we're at. We had 2 controllers and 2 boxes go down on these signals on Main Street, and those cost $4,400 a piece. So that's $8,800 of that 10,000 plus that goes towards that. So this group does a really good job, but it's more of a CYA for us to use them, and they're the expertise. And I mean, it benefits MUB, it benefits street department, because we really don't have the expertise to deal with that. So that's kind of,
Usually get on it pretty quick.
and that's kind of, I mean, when we call them, they're normally there within a couple hours. The guys we had before we used this group, there's 2 guys.
Yeah,
One was like
97
One was like 105, and it would take a week or 2 to get him here. So we talked to some of our counterparts, and they sent us onto this group, and it's worked out really well. They got an office out of Tulsa, so we don't have to pay too much mileage. And with this agreement, we do kind of get a discount on pricing, hourly rates and stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. So if they don't have the part to fix it at that time, they will rig it to where it's working for them to be able to get the
Well,
part.
if I remember right, there were actually 2 repairs on this amount. There was,
Yeah, there was 2 repairs on the signal twice,
Hogan
and then there was one on Van, I think.
yeah.
And we were kind of waiting to see with Adair Street, or what was it, the Kauai District, what they're gonna do with their signals before we start pumping money into any of these other signals down Main Street, because they are antiquated. I mean, they are probably 40 plus. I mean, let's be honest. Every time, you know, it's supposed to be set up 2, 2, 2, 2, but every time we take a lightning strike, guess what? It goes 2, 1, maybe another one. I mean, it's hard to keep them like it was back in the day. So we are looking at possibly replacing them. We just kind of waiting on the Kauai district to take hold and see if there's any more money coming this way before we kind of do it, so. But then that's other stuff you gotta worry about too. When we start upgrading these lights, how are we gonna set them up? Because if they're on loops or if they're on timers, it kind of depends. We don't want it to go straight. Well, some people want it to go straight green throughout, but then it turns into a drag strip. Others don't want it because if it's straight green, they're not gonna stop at your businesses. So, I mean, you're not gonna make everybody happy. Of course, you guys know that, but that's just, when that time comes, that's something you guys gotta think about, okay? And I'll, any questions?
Just make them 11 to 5,
Huh? Oh.
blinking light. Caution.
You go next one?
Right.
No, that was such a simple question, I'm glad you just answered that for me.
All right, further discussion? If none, call for the vote.
Brashears,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Item 4, Mayor's Report. Approve the municipal utility board's recommendation to increase the residential electric rate inside the corporate city limits from .0772 per kilowatt hour to .0790 per kilowatt hour, with the minimum in accordance to the rate effective December 1, 2024.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion from Gantier and a second from Bashir.
Can you read that?
It's everything I got here is in your packet. I just kind of did this for the audience. So a little backstory. GRDA back in early 2023, they had a consultant come in. They're doing a cost of service study on the rates. And you can't hardly see it here, but they came up with a solution for what their rates needed to be back in April of 2024. Took it to their board. Their board approved it. You should have, you don't have that in your packet?
Yeah, I looked at
Okay.
that
Letter.
earlier.
So basically, what they're looking at is, for the next 3 years, starting in October 1st of this year, a 4% increase for the next 3 years, each year, starting October 1st, 2024 through 2026. I mean, you can kind of see where they're kind of pushing their increases to. I highlighted the yellow and the pink and the green. That's kind of the stuff that we have in our system, the rates. So the reason why they got it approved in April, they was trying to push it for us in July 1 because we're on fiscal year, GRD is on calendar year. But we kind of threw a fit on that because we did not want to hit the customers in July, August, September, in the hot months with the rate increase. So they worked with us and waited till October. So that's kind of, it was great for them to do that. So that's kind of where we're at. Got any questions on this slide? I'll go to the next one to kind of tell you what we're looking at. Okay. So all this stuff is data from calendar year 2023, January, February, March, all the way through December, that has cost with existing rates, cost with proposed rates, and what the difference is and what the increase is. They're doing it straight across 4%. It's not always 4% because it's based on your load factor and your substations and stuff, so it could change somewhat. So what we did was we took the data from calendar year 2023 and we prepared this little slide that kind of shows what the proposed rates would be, the existing rates would be, and we have an increase of 4.15% based on that. I didn't really want to hit the customers with the 4% just yet because, you know, we're in the process of starting to getting some of our smart meters in, the AMI, and I wanted to kind of, our board approved well, they haven't approved yet. They approved a budget to allow us to do our own cost of service study when we do get our smart meters in to make sure we are charging the customers the correct amount. Because we don't want to overcharge them, we don't want to undercharge them. We want to charge them what's right. So didn't really feel comfortable hitting them with 4% right off the bat. So I came up with the next one that would keep us still going strong and not hurt the customer too much, which I did all that. And this is really what the customer cares about, is how much are they going to pay? After all that, push this up just a hair. And if anybody in the public wants something to this, they can come see me, and I have no problem giving this to them. But, charter states, city council has a right, or they have the right to approve or disapprove our rates. I mean, residential inside city limits, if you read the charter. Very top, residential inside electric, consumption 6,000, 5,000, 4, 3, 2, 1. Most people use anywhere from 750 to 2,000 kilowatt hours. I mean, and that depends on your usage. I was telling my board last night, I might use 35 to 100 to 4,000 because I got 2 air conditioners and pool pump going nonstop. And during the summer months, my bill's high. I mean, it just is. But it shows the cost of existing rates, the cost with tax, and our proposed rate, existing rate was 0.0772. We're looking at 0.0790 with the taxes. Like say for 2,000 kilowatt hours, you're looking at $3.79% increase. I mean, we're not breaking the bank. It's just we got to cover our stuff because, as you've seen in the last slide, if we don't do anything, I'm going to be on the hook for $150,000 to $200,000. These small changes are big picture when you're selling 100 million kilowatt hours. So, our board approved this last night. It's up to you guys to approve it. You can see what commercial, even though it's not, we're not talking commercial, you can look at that sheet and kind of see what I would request my board for all the other categories we have for the electric. So with that, I'll entertain any questions you may have.
For you or Chairman Harris, either one, I appreciate you guys being here. Was there any relevant conversations last night that we should be aware of from your all's discussion about this?
The only discussion we had was kind of, they requested 4, why didn't we do 4? And I just gave you the spiel why I didn't do 4. So now that doesn't mean next October, it could be 4. I mean,
okay.
I just let you know that you'll be seeing me next October. And you could be seeing me for water because water gets a chance every 6 months to review their rates. So it's kind of where we're at. The board approved it. Now it's up to you, or they approved me to come up here to present to you guys. If you approve it, then I will take it back down to the board for the next board meeting and put it on there for approval by them because it was approved by you guys with all the other electric categories we have. And that's what they will be, so.
Mayor, I've got one question. Thank you for coming up here and giving us this data. And it kind of ties in with electric rates, but not really, kind of. But how are the lights downtown that have been put on all the buildings? Who pays the bill for that?
So what we do, some of them are metered, some of them are not. Some of them are plugged into our antique lighting, antique downtown lighting. Others might be plugged into some of those buildings that already have electric up there. So that customer might be paying for that. But with the, say, third Thursdays, with the down Main Street events, what we do is I think we send them one bill, $400 or $500 a year, just because the charter says no free service. But if it's not metered, I can't really charge them, but we have a flat rate, so it's no free service. But it could be a discounted service, you know. I mean, it just makes it cleaner. So I just send them a bill, they pay it, and we call it good.
When those lights were all originally put on those buildings, I don't know, 5 years ago, whenever it was, wasn't that done by GRDA? Didn't somebody do that for us and they paid the expense of that? Or?
Are you talking about the LED lighting for the antiquated lighting downtown?
No, I'm talking about all the white lights on top of the buildings.
So,
that's what I was talking about, period, on it.
What they got on the top, that was done by Main Street, and I can't remember. They may have got some money from GRDA to do that, but I don't think GRDA did that. Main Street paid for that.
So they pay for the light bills on that?
They pay for the bill each year now, don't you?
I can't say on the year, so that's new.
Okay.
We pay for the installation and the
Yeah, they don't, we send them one bill each year to pay for their electric usage that they use for those lights for the food trucks that they have on.
Well, I'm talking about all the white lights on top of the building.
Yeah, that's included in that $500 invoice, or that $400 invoice we sent.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's how that's, but the installation is paid for by Main Street.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We good?
Good.
Good. Thank you for your time.
All right, call for the vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
All right, city attorney's report, discussion and possible action to approve a resolution of support for the appointment of Zach Doyle to Oklahoma Municipal League Regional Council, declaring said appointment to be for the benefit of the city of Pryor Creek and other municipalities within the district, and declaring the mission of the Oklahoma Municipal League to be for the public purpose. Do you have a motion?
Motion.
A motion from Shropshire.
That's a resolution, we don't have to waive readings or anything, that's only for ordinances.
All right, then I'll second.
Second from Bradshaw. So what this is I got an email this week from OML, the Oklahoma Municipal League. What they are doing is they've started, this will be the first for our area. Our area is, they're calling it Region 3. There's a geographical map on their website. You can see what that includes. Basically, OML is reaching out to the various communities that they serve and establishing these councils that basically allow the municipalities to tell OML what they can do to better serve, to seek out ways that OML can better serve, and then allows the municipalities the opportunity in a little more, I don't necessarily want to say intimate setting, but a little more intimate setting to say, here's what we could use from you, and then they apply training and things to those. These are quarterly. This first one happens to be in Tahlequah. And so in order to go, one of the requirements to go and tell OML what we need and how we can do that is that you have to bring this resolution with council approval.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I think that it's been very clear that the city is in dire financial straits. And this would be another city expense that we would expect the taxpayers to pay. And I don't know how we can do that with good conscience.
Well, respectfully, there's no expense for me doing this. I would take my own vehicle, and I don't charge the city for that.
Okay.
So it's literally me just going for a few hours tomorrow.
And I'm also having to say that we have departments working without people and being shorthanded, namely the city clerk's office. Sounds like they could use your help direly. So how is this going to be in the best public purpose and for the benefit of the city of Pryor Creek for you to go to a social event?
Well, first of all, I don't necessarily know that it's a social event. Nobody's been, this is their first one. OML's claim is that this is to allow communication directly between the municipal leaders and them and their leadership so that they can better serve the communities. I get asked all the time how we benefit from having these subscriptions to OML or OMAG.
OML and OMAC, well, OML in particular is a massive benefit being a member. I can tell you that for the legal side.
Correct. And we do utilize OML very frequently. Again, like I said, when I go to things like this, I do not charge the city mileage or fuel for that. I use my own vehicle. You know, we don't know what they can provide if we don't put ourselves there for that. To respond to the help that's needed here, again, I make it very clear that they all have my invite. Whatever you need, I'll do. I think one of the things that I say daily to our clerk and her offices, if there's something I can do, please let me know that I can do it. So, you know, I think it is in the best interest of the city to see how we can better that relationship or better use the tools that OML provides us. Unfortunately, it's just not here in Pryor, it's in another town. So for a few hours tomorrow, I would look forward to going down and finding what it is that we can do with that relationship with OML to better utilize that resource that we have. And like Chase said, OML is a phenomenal tool that is, I'm going to say, saved the city time and time again. I think Jared, do you ever use OML as well, correct?
Yeah, we use both OML and OMAC.
Right.
Got a lot of legal expertise that we use.
Correct.
Does OML ever come to our meetings and ask, what can we do for you? Do they do that?
They have in the past.
I've never seen them since I've been on the council.
No, not since you've been on the council, but I would like to be able to find out if those are things that we get. They offer trainings and things to municipalities. I'd like to see what those trainings could do for us. I'd like to find out how they can better help us. There were several of you that were here. We did bring in OMAG for some training, best practices. That went over about like a dead fish. But that is the things that they do, is they offer these best practices. They offer legal advice. There's been countless times where just some legal advice on things that we've needed in terms of how to handle a situation that necessarily Chase isn't available for or doesn't need to go through Chase, and we can make a call to the OML Legal Counsel and at no additional cost outside of what our membership with them is, and they will provide that as we need it. I mean, they're definitely very beneficial.
That will continue to be provided whether or not you're sitting on this regional council or not, though.
Correct.
Was the invitation for us to have a representative, a mayor, or just a leader? Because I was reading the packet, it said leader, I didn't,
Municipality leadership, yes.
so it could theoretically be,
It could be anybody else that wants to go. But again, I think the argument that it's not in a financial interest of the city or anything like that is, I think we're kind of drawing at straws there. I think it is beneficial for the ones that are going to be using it the most to be the ones that understand how to use it and who those key contacts are. By no means am I considering it a social event. I usually go and do what I have to do and get out of there and get back. I have other obligations tomorrow as well, so.
Mayor, in my experience, I've called a couple of times on some legal advice, and after you finally get to talk to someone, they say, we can advise you to contact your city attorney, so I've never got anywhere with them on that.
I've had that happen
Yeah.
multiple times as well.
So
Can't
that's-
answer for that. I don't know what it was you called them about,
Well-
to be honest. I don't.
They did say, even at the training, that there are things they will answer, but there are also times that they say, you better contact your city attorney.
Yeah.
And it's just not like you, they answer my call almost every time.
Yeah. Birds of a
But
feather.
I get,
Yeah, they return it pretty quick.
I think your obligations to the city and the current issues that we're facing are probably more pressing than you going to a regional council meeting for a few hours.
How does that take away from my responsibilities here?
Well, if you're not here, how are you supposed to do your responsibilities?
Well, I think understanding those resources is part of my responsibility.
I would rather devote several hours tomorrow to getting our financial statements caught up and letting us know where the budget is.
That can be done as well.
Tomorrow?
Well, I'm not gonna say we're gonna have it done tomorrow, Tyler.
Oh, okay.
You know that, as well as I do.
Well, I do know it's November and we have 2 months worth of financials and we are definitely in a budget crisis. So if you're asking me, and you will here in a minute to vote, my vote is for you to stay here and do the city's business and not to be out of town for other things that I really don't think that they are going to benefit the city as a whole. We're going to get the benefit of OML regardless of whether we show up at this meeting or not.
And I appreciate your thoughts on that. Further discussion?
Yeah.
How many meetings per year is this
Quarterly.
gonna be? So just once each quarter?
There's one more this year, this one tomorrow.
Are they just in Tahlequah? Is that kind of where all of them are?
As of right now, all I know is this one just happens to be in Tahlequah. And I will say that we have in the past offered up to OML use of our police facility for their trainings. And they did like the idea. Why they didn't take it on this, I don't know. But I do know that for our region, this one just happens to be in Tahlequah.
Typically with those, you have to host it and the city has to pay for like the lunch provided to everyone and stuff like that. So that's probably why we have it.
well, how many city leaders are going to be participating in this? Is
I
there
don't know
seven
the
out?
answer
Are
to
they-
that. I don't know what other municipalities.
Yeah,
Wish I had a better answer for you,
Yeah.
Kenneth, on that one, but I couldn't tell you how many were invited to it. They don't give me that information. And like I said, I got the email and I responded, threw it on the agenda so that we could make that happen.
And
Yeah.
Chase, you say that's a definite advantage if we have somebody.
I don't know, I'm just saying, being a member of OML,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm about this. I'm a big fan of OML. This
This is new for them. This is not anything they've done before. But again, this is their ideology here is to reach out to the communities and hear directly, collaboratively, and to share what they can do for those communities. So I see the interest in that being big for the city. I'd sure hate to not get something that we could have spent a couple hours learning and figuring out go to waste because mayor needs to stay home.
I mean, we could still send a representative. If it's not you, it could be somebody else.
The resolution will have to be amended to remove Zach's name and the person you're sending instead in there.
Sure, that can be done with an amended motion.
Correct, I'm just
Well,
stating the fact.
And my mindset right now with what our city has been struggling with, I mean, let's face it, we have issues in our council, we have issues in the departments, we have, things coming out here that should not have ever come out here, and I'm not revisiting those issues. And we have something that is fairly new, but I mean, the publicity that our city is getting right now, with everything that's going on, I want to know how is this going to benefit those issues? Because I mean, this isn't against anybody, but we got a lot of internal issues we got to work on, and my concern is we're going to spend more time. Yeah, I granted it's quarterly, but I've heard a lot just in 6 months. We're going to look at doing this. This could be to the betterment of the city. This is a long-term economic deal, and that's all great, but we have immediate problems, immediate relationships, immediate issues that are getting exacerbated as time goes on. Do we need to look at this? Just from that perspective.
I would also like to say that we have a complete failure in leadership with you as mayor.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes.
I didn't know we were throwing out jabs tonight, Tyler. So point of order to you. But
I'm sorry, I'm entitled to my opinion.
you are, but we're not here to insult each other.
I'm not.
And so,
This is a fact. You have a problem telling the truth. You have a
do I?
problem talking about counselors when they're not around.
yeah, so.
Yeah, that was my case in point, by the way.
I'm sorry, discussion is still occurring. We
call for the
cannot
vote.
call for the vote when discussion is still occurring. If we're going to talk about sending you somewhere, I have a real problem with what Mr. Brashears is saying with the lack of leadership that we have within the city. It's getting put on our backs because of a lack of leadership in the city.
You're saying this is putting this on your backs.
No, I'm saying if you fail to be here, this is going to contribute to a problem of your failure in leadership.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion? Call for the vote.
Trammell,
No.
Gantier,
No.
Smith,
No.
Lamar,
No.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Brashears,
No.
Brown,
No.
Item 6, committee reports, budget personnel,
The 10th.
ordinance insurance,
It's going to be the next fifth Tuesday, and that's
December.
December, yeah.
okay. Street and maintenance,
It'll be next Tuesday at our normal appointed time.
okay. Have no unforeseeable business. Item 8, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion from Bashir and a second from Gantier. Call for the vote.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Brashears,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
We'll call to order the Pryor Public Works Authority. If we could kind of maintain some less hustle up here, appreciate that. Item 2, approve the minutes of the November 5th, 2024 meeting.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion from Bashir and a second from Gantier. Call for the vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Item 3, we have no unforeseeable. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion from Bashir, second from Lamar. Call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Oh, that was that.
Are these all ready?
Yeah.
No difference. Do we have purchase orders? Turn up?
Yeah.
We're stacking them here.
Oh, or if you grab the basket down there, that would be a lot easier.
Easier, they don't fall and.
I have, this one I'll sign, but I'm not signing these from the general fund.
Can you turn the mics off?
So,